Good evening, everybody. You are attending the Sherborn Planning Board meeting, October the 7th, 2025. Opening time of this meeting is 7:07. To open this meeting, and do I have a second from the planning board?
Second.
So it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, Steph Harrison,
Aye.
Brett Piercy,
Aye.
Jim Greeno,
Aye.
and I, Frank Hookham, and I as well.
Rob is on now too.
Oh, Rob, are you an aye to open the meeting?
Yes.
Good. So it's been moved and seconded to open the meeting. So welcome everybody. Let me, where are
Are there any agenda items not anticipated?
we? Yeah, do it this way. Terrific. Are there any agenda items not listed 48 hours in advance of this meeting?
Yes, I have one.
And what might that be?
On Thursday evening, the North Sherborn Water and Sewer District met in a public meeting. Heidi and I were present. And I just wanted to go over some of the updates from that, specifically the request for comments from the planning board in response to the draft environmental impact report, the DEIR. So I'd like to propose amending the agenda to add that. The reason that it didn't make the agenda 48 hours in advance is because the town clerk is not open on Fridays. So the planning board's deadline for Tuesday meeting agenda modifications is Thursdays at 12:30. The meeting was held on Thursday night, so we could not amend the agenda following the meeting to add this topic.
Okay, so it's been moved. Do I hear a second to add this topic to our meeting for tonight?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor? Rob Wolf. So that was an aye. I saw his lips move. I didn't hear you. Brett Piercy,
Aye.
Jim Greeno,
Aye.
Steph,
Aye.
and I, Frank Hookham, and I as well. Minutes for tonight for September the 2nd. Minutes to be approved. Current planning.
Do you need to approve the agenda, Frank? Oh, no, that was the agenda, right? Okay.
That's what I'm going through right now.
Okay.
I'm going through the agenda. So current planning board business are items to hold off to the end would be items for the annual town meeting of 2026, stormwater management plan, housekeeping items, sign bylaw update, ADU updates, other items for consideration. Item 2, decision, discuss site plan review processes, and item 3 is review timeline. We have a new item 4 at 7:15 in 4 minutes. We'll start a public tree hearing on scenic and shade trees in the town of Sherborn, and then we'll have other business reports with on meetings with other boards and entities and town planner report. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda as written?
Second.
To move and seconded. All those in favor, Steph?
The motion is to approve the agenda with the addition.
Yes.
Okay. Yep. Aye.
Rob?
Aye.
Brett?
Aye.
Kim?
Aye.
And I, Frank Hookham, and I as well. Steph, if we go on to the minutes, we might just be able to get those done. Would you mind sharing those minutes?
Yeah.
does
Do we
anybody-
need to share them? If everyone reviewed them in advance, we may not need to share them.
Does anybody have any comments on the minutes? Any changes, any adjustments, any additions or subtractions?
I didn't have any edits of note that are worth spending the board's time on, like spelling mistakes and stuff like that. So I'm good.
Right. So, is there, I need a motion to approve the minutes with spelling corrections, no other substantive change? Do I have a second?
Second,
It's been moved and seconded. Brett,
Aye.
Rob,
aye.
Steph,
Aye.
Sabrina,
Aye.
and I, Frank Opperman, I as well.
I'll sign it. So that I feel ready.
So it's 7:13. Just not enough time.
Now, I think this topic Steph wants to talk about, we should move to the end after the hearing.
That's what I guess that where I put it in. I suggested it go.
Maybe procedurally, can I, before we get into the hearing, can I ask a procedural question of Eversource? Is that allowed before the hearing? It's a very-
Well, we should probably do that. We should probably do it in a hearing if it's tree related.
No, it's procedural. It's 100% procedural. It's about the PowerPoint file.
Okay.
Was the order of the trees as presented in the PowerPoint file, is there any rhyme or reason to what the order that the trees are shown in?
Whole number, which should more or less line up with what is in the planning board document, but not 100%.
Okay. I guess a procedural question then for Sean and those in the room. Do we want to go in the order of the inventory by tree number? Or do we want to go in the order of the PowerPoint, which, for example, seems to start with number 37, then 2 and 3, then 49? What's easier for people as we're reviewing these documents that we have in front of us or have reviewed previously?
First two trees in the order are trees that I was going to use as examples during my like initial introduction for the project. So those trees will then be repeated in their proper place once the order starts at 1. That makes sense.
Okay.
Is it possible for the hearing to have the Eversource representative move up to the table so that the mic picks up better? I'm having a really hard time hearing.
Yeah. Right. So it is 7:15.
I didn't hear the response though, Frank. Is it okay for me to
Yes,
understand the
yes,
response?
we will as soon as that happens.
Yeah, so the first few slides were examples I was going to use at the end of my introduction to sort of go through my methodology for what I was looking for in these trees. They are repeated later on in the slideshow in their proper place.
So does the board prefer to go through them numerically or to go through them in the order Eversource presented, which is?
It's
Oh,
probably
I
pretty-
see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. You have full slides repeated that have tree numbers. Okay, okay. Thank you.
Okay, sure.
So I'd like to open the hearing on the public tree on scenic roads at 7:15 p.m. on October the 7th, 2025. We will be covering both the planning board's responsibility for scenic road trees and voting on that, as well as we have the tree warden who will be aiding us in answering any questions that we have as a board on the trees. He's also evaluated trees, so he may have some input to provide on trees that we will be considering. There are also trees that are being suggested for trimming or removal that are not in the on scenic roads, which are not part of the planning board's vote. So that will be a vote by the tree warden and more of a discussion with Verizon. And if any planning board member wants to chime in or discuss or make any comments on any of the trees that are not in scenic roads, they may do so as a resident of the town, but not as a planning board member. For a list of the streets that we're looking at tonight that are part of the Scenic Road Act, there's a This is listed in our rules and regulations under 380-3 dot whatever. And the Scenic Road Act provide that is point 3, which has all the scenic roads in town, which Woodland and Ash and Greenwood are the roads that are in this area, this vicinity that we'll be looking at, and that's predominantly Woodland and Ash roads. And with that, the planning board's responsibility is to look at trees. Bear with me. So the decision, which is under 380-3.8, E, for decisions, planning board shall make a decision as soon as practical, but no later. Consideration, sorry, 380-3.9. We need to keep into account the scenic and aesthetic characteristics. We need to keep in account the public safety aspects of the trees. C is not really pertinent to this discussion. D, the location setbacks. E, it's not important, not pertinent, I should say, is traffic volume. F is preservation of natural resources. G is environmental and historic value. H is recreational use, not so much. I is relationship to the road, to the standards of the planning board subdivision rules and regulations. J, not pertinent. K, not pertinent. And L, evidence contributed by abutters, town agencies, and other interested parties. Those are the things that we need to use in making our decisions. So keep that in mind when we're going through this. The public will have the opportunity to give input as well to any of the tree numbers. But please wait to be called on. We'll be for the planning board. We'll do planning board first, ask questions of the tree warden. The tree warden will then have this opportunity to have discussions and comments, and then we'll open it up to the public. So with that, we'll start with the presentation.
Gonna
Oh,
read,
Frank, do you need to open the public hearing with the vote and read the whole public hearing agenda?
Okay, I can do that. So I opened it and read the title, but I'll do that again. So it's now 7:20. We'll open the public hearing on the scenic road, public trees on the scenic road. Notice is hereby given pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 40, verse 15, and Mass General Law 87, Section 3, concerning the cutting of public shade trees on woodland, hollows, and curved streets designated scenic roads, and the following on non-scenic roads, Washington and Page Farm, for risk of two power lines. A public tree hearing will be held on Tuesday, October the 7th, 2025 at 7:15 at Town Hall, 19 Washington Street. This will be a hybrid joint hearing conducted by both Sherborn Tree Warden, which is Sean Colleen, and the Planning Board. Trees to be discussed have been marked with yellow tags for identification. A complete list for discussion is available on the town's website and has been, which is sherbornma.org, and the town clerk's office. A link to join the remotely will be available on the planning board's posted agenda. So with that motion, do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Steph,
Was that me? Aye. Sorry.
Rob,
Aye.
Brett,
Aye.
Tim,
Aye.
and I, Frank, will come and I as well. So the planning board is in session. The public hearing is in session. Sean, do you want to or need to call anything in order for your?
do you want to vote to open a meeting?
Yes. I'm good with opening the meeting.
Did you second it?
Do you want to start with Eversource, introducing and have Matt go through, or do you want to make a statement?
I'll make a quick statement. That's the acting tree warden and as DPW director, and a longtime resident. This is the first hearing outside of the hearings we had for specifically Farm Road for an upgrade. This is the first combined tree hearing we've had since 2017. Since then, us, Eversource, partnered up to try to keep up with massive amount of oak trees that were dying. 2017, Eversource was here for some pretty long, intense hearings. They were telling us exactly what was about to happen and was happening. We didn't listen to them. I bring that up because the next year or two, we documented, and I constantly have reminders coming up on my phone and my Google images and everything else of trees that still had labels on that were coming down and wreaking havoc all the time. That was the culmination of many years of not taking any trees down that should have otherwise been taken down. We're in a slightly different position now. Eversource has probably spent $750,000, maybe close to $1 million, taking trees down in Sherborn. Sherborn has spent probably $500,000. So there isn't as much standing dead stock. But those aren't the trees that come down all the time. Heidi can attest to that. I still get a yearly reminder of what her mother's car looked like. What a massive, very healthy oak limb landed on top of her parents' car. So there's a lot to it, and I'm saying this as not here as someone that likes to just cut tons of trees down. But I have a unique experience where there's almost not been a time since 2017 that I didn't show up, at least to see the tree before I called my guys in to clean it up in the middle of the night or during the day. A response. And many years prior to that, storms with the fire department. So there's a lot to it. It's not an exact science. We're not going to agree on some trees. We're not going to, Eversource has one priority, and that's keeping their lines up. The best thing for them would be no trees hanging over their wires. And we're not going to offer that tonight by any stretch of the imagination. And I'm not for that. I think a lot, and I spend a lot of time looking at the tree canopy and how we would keep it, and how we can try to get it back to where it was. But I also, and one more example, there's a massive white pine on this list that I'm really torn about. And I'll tell you a quick story. There's a lot of massive white pines on the sides of roads, and they make a colossal mess when they come down. And I have an employee that's nearly got killed. When a limb it split in half, and 3 or 4 hours later, there was a couple other source guys there. I asked the crew to clean up what was on the ground so they could get power back. And a gust of wind came through and took the rest of the tree and almost killed it. There's no rhyme or reason for why that one tree got knocked down out of the thousands of huge white pines, but when they come down, they wreak havoc because they're big and they split in half and they take everything down with them. So just those things to consider. Again, even that particular tree, I'm still torn on. But it's things to think about. I think this is why the planning board is tasked with this on the scenic roads, because it's a delicate balance. It's not just about public safety. If it was, it'd be really easy. So
Thank you for those comments.
Matt's here from Eversource. He spent a lot of time in Sherborn looking at trees in different areas. And I'm sure he has a lot more to say. He's been looking at this area for a little over a year, I think, right?
It's about that much, yeah.
We didn't pick up on it until people started seeing some blue ribbons on trees, so. That all led to this. I'll hand it over to Matt if you want to take it from here.
Are you able to share the PowerPoint?
Yep.
Screen share.
Just a moment. I'm just gonna share the PowerPoint, so if I end up going to another file, I'll need to reshare. I'll do that way for now and see how it goes.
Oh, while that gets worked out, my name's Matthew. I'm an arborist with Eversource. I've been an arborist working for Eversource either directly or as a contractor for 8 years. Before that, I studied forestry in college. Actually, they happened to get me right out of college, so here I am now. But yeah, here you go. Thank you for those words, Sean. So this is the 274 H2 circuit. It feeds a large section of Sherborn along Western Ave, Maple Street, and then the two roads we're here to talk about today as well, Woodland and Washington. It is up for a maintenance pruning this year. Most of that work has been done already, but what we are about to start is a storm resiliency project on Woodland and Washington. The purpose of these projects is to improve electrical reliability during major storm events, which are predicted to become more common in the future given climate trends. This would also have the added benefit of potentially reducing the impact of storm-related tree failure on general public road safety and road closures from down to trees and wires in the roadway. Next slide, please.
Next step.
Next slide, please. So the images on the screen are from a tree failure that happened actually on Woodland Street earlier this summer. It's on a part of Woodland Street that is not part of the scope of these projects, but it is just too good of an example. So this tree lost a major section of canopy. It fell into the roadway, effectively blocking one lane of travel, and it is resting on our wires, which means it's potentially energized. That means you do not want to touch it. And it was like that for a few hours before we were able to get it down. And during that time, access was very restricted. There are two aspects to these storm resiliency projects. One is we are expanding our regular pruning specifications. Our normal pruning specs around the wires at the very top of the pole are 10 feet to the sides and bottom and 15 feet above. This new clearance is 15 feet to the sides, 25 feet above the top wires, and when possible, we're removing undergrowth that's underneath the wires. The second aspect of these projects is removing trees where pruning to that kind of clearance would significantly impact their long-term survivability, as well as trees that are themselves potentially hazardous due to some kind of defect, disease, or rot. Next slide, please. So yeah, it's kind of hard to see, but a larger aspect of this project that I imagine there's going to be a lot of discussion on is going to be the undergrowth question. This is what the undergrowth looks like currently on Woodland. It's hard to see, but right in the middle of the screen, I got a blue arrow pointing to an elm. If you look at that elm where the arrow is pointing, there is a lot of small sprouts shooting up directly into the wires. So that elm is responding to the pruning we did 4 years ago. Because of the forested canopy nature of a lot of Sherborn, there's a lot of limited light getting through to these trees. So instead of pruning out and around like what we're trying to do, they just go right back up into the wires. These are trees that are never going to be pretty because of those conditions. And if we go to the next slide, this is on, I think, South Main Street. This is what these trees look like after we prune them. This guy was pruned at the end of last year, so he has one growing season on him. It was pruned correctly to arboricultural standards, but even so, it is kind of a stake in the ground. These are trees that want to be in the same space that our wires are. We're trying to stop them from catching fire or causing reliability issues. But my larger point is, even if you're doing the pruning correctly, these are not going to be very pretty trees. By removing the undergrowth, we solve this issue. As you can see further down the road in that very same photo, you can see that the stone wall is actually very visible from the side of the road, and it doesn't impact the overall forested nature of the road. Roadsides like this also tend to have a large presence of invasive species such as Norway maple. I saw a bunch of Norway maple and buckthorn just today when I was driving around Woodland in Washington. So that's the undergrowth aspect of this project. Next slide, please. So I'm going to go through a few different examples of what I'm looking for when we're putting trees on this list. And like you were discussing earlier, the whole list of trees follows these few examples. So when we are looking at removals for these kinds of storm projects, we're removing trees for one of two reasons, either clearance or potentially hazard tree removals. This is a good example of a removal due to clearance. It's on Washington Street. There is no good way to prune this tree. It is directly over the wires. The entire canopy is over the wires. To prune this thing, to eliminate that overhead clearance, we would be cutting the tree in half, which would eventually kill the tree quite quickly. So it's, in my opinion, better to have it out. Next slide, please. So these two are from Woodland. There's two trees that are on the list in this photo. One of them is very, very hard to see. It's just a very small maple, basically directly behind that pole on the right. The other one is this larger tree, and I know that what you're thinking, Matt, that's a really big tree. What's going on? So that maple is one, very close to the wires, and two, if you were to prune the 25 feet of canopy out of that maple, basically the 3 or 4 lower limbs on the left, we'd be removing a significant amount of canopy in this tree. And if you look at this tree, it doesn't have any leaves on it. It is alive. If you look at its neighbors, they all still have leaves in peak fall color. This guy dropped his leaves very, very early. That is a sign of a sick, unhealthy tree. So those two things in tandem, removing a lot of canopy while also the tree not being very healthy to begin with. I would rather have it removed instead of us pruning it, which could potentially hasten its decline. Next slide, please. So these two trees, there are two trees on the list in this photo. The first is directly behind the pole. You can see that there is a large limb coming out horizontal for a bit and then shooting right up. If we were to prune that lower limb to get the this enhanced clearance, or it's almost certainly within our normal clearance as well, we'd be removing a little under half of the canopy of this tree. Generally, you don't want to be removing more than a third. If you're removing more of a third of the canopy, the long-term survival of a tree is not guaranteed. The other tree is the last one in that line of 3 or 4. It's close to the wires, but it doesn't have a lot of overhead. I would normally be fine with leaving it, even if it's a bit within our side clearance around the wires. But on the photo on the left, there's a big hole about halfway up that tree. So the issue with that tree isn't the clearance as much as it has a higher risk of failing at that large cavity, potentially onto the wires and onto the road. And then my last example, which is the last slide, which was the pine that Sean was referencing. This is a big tree. I feel kind of bad about it myself. I promise I became an arborist because I like trees. So the issue with this is that it's touching our higher voltage line wire. It has around 4,000 volts running through it compared to the 240 coming out of your outlet. I did not grab a photo of it, but there is actually a burn on this tree from when it caught fire in the past. So obviously we want to get it out before it catches fire again. People in the crowd almost certainly can't see it. There is some orange, there's an orange insulated sleeve on the wire that's touching the stem. Those are helpful, but they're really a band-aid when the wind is banging the tree around and the wire around. They come off very easily. They are a short-term solution to an immediate threat. They're not a long-term solution to preventing further issues. And it's a multi-stem pine, instead of a singular stem pine. They're called pines are called softwoods for a reason. When they're multi-stemmed like that, even healthy ones can split somewhat easily if the wind hits it right. So that's about it for my examples. Not counting undergrowth under a foot in diameter, which I'm asking for blanket permission to flat cut, like I was saying. There are 18 trees on Woodlands and 29 trees on Washington. Of these 47 trees, 8 of them are dead. Then there are 5 trees on Hollis and Curve Streets, where the abutters have requested Eversource to remove these trees while we're in town. One of them's dead. One of them, the resident is not would prefer that we remove it after we pruned it, and then the rest are growing in between our wires, which is not a very good situation. That's all I have for now.
You start just going down the list.
But before we do that, I know we do have one resident who is here to weigh in on specific trees. Other than Kate, is anyone else on the Zoom here for a specific tree? And I wonder if we can prioritize them to let them go.
I have one. About
Okay.
49.
Was that a comment in the room?
Yes, number 49. There's a resident has a question on number 49 on the list.
Okay.
And Tom Trainer has his hand raised too.
I have a couple trees. I don't know. I don't have the list in front of me on Washington Street.
So why don't we do 8 and 9, which is Kate's trees, and then 49, which is the resident in the room, and then we can go through the list and look for Tom's trees. Would it work to kind of skip around like that initially so that these folks
I'll
can?
forward Tom the list, and then by the time we get done with a couple of these comments, and maybe.
I have the list, Frank. I'll look at it. And my address is 97 Washington, so you'll see that, but I'll look at it.
And I'm here for 15 Curve Street whenever that gets on the list
Oh, okay.
to talk about next. Thank you.
So we'll go Kate. I didn't catch the name of the gentleman in the room. And then-
It's That's sweet. Debbie, go ahead.
You wait 9 already?
No, she's going to, but she was asking she's running to get the names.
So, Debbie Hollis Street.
Hollis, okay. Okay, so let's is it okay with the planning board if we kind of skip around like that just to let these folks go before we go too late?
Sure.
Okay. So maybe we
start with 49.
I think we were going to do 8 and 9 first, and then 49. Yep. So 8 and 9, and so what I've done is I've pulled up the slide from Matt's PowerPoint here. Kate Nichols is the property owner here, and notably these 2 trees in question, one is shown in each picture, kind of flank the opening in a stone wall that is not their primary driveway, but it's a secondary access to their property. One with rot, I'm assuming that's this cavity here, Matt?
Yeah, you can technically see both trees on the picture on the right. The one with the rot
yes.
is the one.
Yep.
And then
Okay.
the other one doesn't really have any health defects. It's just very, very close to the wires on both sides.
Does Sean have any comments on these?
My initial reaction when we went out there was, I need to know what the resident wants, because they're as much their tree as a town tree. If they were in my yard, I wouldn't want them cut down. I can't tell which tree is which.
8 is the one with the cavity that's in the stone wall that's jointly owned by the property owner and the town because it is on the wall itself. So that's this one on the left, also shown in the left photo. 9 is the one that kind of splits the wires. And as I think Matt said, has no other health defects.
We want to hear from Kate.
Yeah,
Thank you for hearing me out on this, and I appreciate you seconding my thoughts of not wanting the trees to go. But you know, in the best interest of the town, I think we're open to being flexible with you all. It would just be a shame to have to lose both of them entirely. It would be great to, you know, prune one and, you know, if you really needed to take one. But I think it would really affect the overall landscape and canopy if both trees were removed in entirety.
Thoughts, Matt?
I think that we could, the one that doesn't have any health issues other than just proximity, we could. It's difficult to tell from this photo, but I think we can probably prune it in a way where everyone is happy. But it'd be my preference of the two, to get the one with that little bit of rot in the stem.
isn't the other one leaning away from the wires?
The one that doesn't have any rot in it has stems on both sides.
No, the one that does have right. It's leaning back, isn't it?
It's leaning to the right a little bit. So somewhat parallel to the street.
This was like pictures of 8 and 9.
John, I'm with you. I think that from my pictures on number 8, which is the one with the rod, it does look like it's leaning back, but it also has a very large canopy, so it's not like over the road. So it's kind of doing both. But the main trunk does seem to be leaning back a little bit. Is there a fire danger with the one that's split around the wires? Is there a high voltage line there that's at risk, like it was with the white pine that you mentioned?
They're not touching. So I mean they're
Okay.
closer than I would like, but they aren't touching. So I think there's a way
Okay,
for
thank
us to prune it. But what really what the more important part of the enhanced pruning specification that matters is the overhead, the side clearance. Well, I would like to get it. It's the overhead that I'm most concerned about or most want,
Okay.
which this tree is close to the sides, but I think we could prune that overhead out. And
So
Okay, sorry. So when you say overhead, does that mean that we would lose a bunch of the canopy anyway with the pruning?
so I would be thinking of sort of the interior canopy that sort of curves back inwards, stuff that is over the wires, but then is going outwards. Which it looks like a good amount of the stuff that I'm happy to keep.
Okay.
So procedurally, this is a question maybe for Frank and Heidi and Sean and Addie Mae. How are we to make recommendations and track recommendations such that we can have a vote on the hearing that encompasses all of the recommendations?
I guess I would go by tree right now, would be,
But
we were pruning on one tree. And I mean, we had to go by what's gonna be to happen to number 8, what's gonna happen to number 9. And then if you
Right.
want to, I can write these down next to the list
okay,
and we can vote at the end on all of them.
So the vote is only to remove or not. You can't really vote to ask them how to prune it. We did have specific recommendations,
Okay, yeah.
wishes on Farm Road. And myself and Brian, and maybe Abby May went out there.
Right,
It was, you know, pretty historic trees.
Yeah.
Some residents that's pretty attached to them. And they did, they struck, because they were restringing wires on Farm Road, so. They went to great effort to kind of go around it. We can actually talk about that when we talk about the white pine too.
so
my
Sean,
concern to vote is to vote to remove or not remove,
Right,
and we say not remove, and then they still go ahead and prune.
well,
Yeah, pruning would be something that is worked out between myself, the tree warden, and or the resident.
right, I mean, we could probably leave notes that we really don't want a tree destroyed.
Okay,
We can't say that about every tree. Otherwise, here.
okay, so
So of the two, which one is the one that is the one that's being recommended for removal?
I believe it's number 8. I'm just double checking,
I
my
believe that's
other
accurate.
records. Yeah, it's number 8 is the one that has the cavity. That's like, it's the one in the left picture here. That's sitting on the stone wall. So that one would be to remove, number 8. And then number 9 would be not remove. I don't know if we need to indicate that pruning with the tree warden is okay in this particular case, or if we don't need to indicate that.
Standing, for most town bylaws is that as far as the planning board goes, it's only removals. And then pruning is something that is worked out between Eversource and the property owner, and it's whoever the property owner is, either the town or the private.
Okay, in this case, it's the town for number 9. Okay.
so we'll say keep. Number 9 is keep.
Right, not remove.
I have a kind of a general question about the tree removals. There was one tree towards the end of the list, I forget which one, where the notes said something about it. It's one that stood well back from the wires, but it was very tall. And they talked about it was dead. They could leave a stub, just something that would no longer interfere with the wires, but it would be a good sized standing stub. And I assume, basically what you're doing with any tree, unless you have a specific exemption like that mentioned, if you're going to remove it, you remove it right down as close to ground level as can go. I know that, when I've seen the Conservation Commission, when people are removing trees on property in like wetlands buffer zones or whatever, or near them, they really like them to leave like 20-25 foot high snags. And I'm just wondering, does Eversource have a policy on that? Does the town have a policy where we would prefer that in some cases, or do we not want to recommend it? I did note when I was on Washington Street, I was out by like trees number 31, 32 there near Page Farm. And I noticed there was a tree that had been removed, and I don't know, some number of years ago. And, it's some huge, like 3-foot diameter tree. And it had basically been cut off as a stump about equal to the height of the lower wires on the poles, which I don't know how people feel like that. Maybe they like that as a habitat thing, or maybe they say, no, we have enough dead trees in the woods, and these just are not great by the sides of the road.
So let me address that. You must not have my notes. Matt had offered that. The town's not gonna go for that on the roadsides. At least the tree warden's not gonna, neither is the DPW director. There is a lot of them around town. Because historically, Eversource, Verizon, Edison, all their predecessors were using trees, and they still do, even though they're not supposed to guide the telephone poles and the wires back. So the one you're specifically referring to on Washington Street has been dead for probably 50 years and is now leaning against the pole. So I put it in a note asking Eversource to take it down. There's trees all over town that we've taken down and had to leave right at that spot because you can't just cut the guy wire and have the pole fall over when you're taking the tree down. So we attempt to get them down. Even Eversource has trouble getting their own guy wires out, or they could be owned by Verizon. And when the tree comes down, it's not available yet to take all the way to the ground. But my take on any of them is going to be take it to the ground.
Yeah, as far as Eversource goes, leaving standing dead trees like that is something we've done on an individual basis, but like Sean said, I would, if it's gonna be close to the roadside, I would want it to be leaning away from the roadside and into the interior. If it's something we're gonna be doing for street trees. So I'd follow Sean's lead on that one.
Okay, so I think we're on remove 8 and keep number 9. Should we move on to the next key and Kate, is that satisfactory for you?
That is definitely agreeable. Thank you so much for the flexibility.
So maybe we move on to tree number 49. Let me pull that one up in the roll here. Oh, it would be up by
And the scenic
Or is
road
it
ones.
down at the bottom. Yeah, I
Yeah,
know,
it's
but
gonna
the
be-
PowerPoint is arranged a
Oh.
little differently.
It should be a few past the one that we're on right now, because it's at
Oh.
full 67 and 68.
Oh, there it is. Okay, so 49 is the one, it's the example you gave, right? With the cavity mid height.
Which tree 49? You talking about the Woodland Street trees?
I had no idea where 49 and 50 are, but.
So 49 is the one that's
It's not saying, that's all.
Yeah, the
That's, it's Woodland Street.
Who wanted to jump 49? I thought she did.
I
I'm
did.
sorry,
Yeah, no, I just didn't know what we were talking about. Oh, what did we say? Fabulous. We were just talking about Woodland Street and Ash tonight, correct?
And Washington.
Washington curve.
Okay.
curve.
Well, you know, obviously there's a large overhang. But I'm wondering what overhangs on the other side, so that if you took the one or two big leaders that are, or branches that are street side, if you took them off, would it be more like them to be?
So there's 2 trees here. The one that's closest to the closer pole on the photo on the right is a
Do I not have a pointer? I mean, I'm just, it's very on
um
I see the tree close to the pole. And it has a huge branch over the road or whatever that is.
so this is the oak. And then this one right here is the hickory. This one is the one that has a cavity. It's very hard to see with the lighting in this
Yeah,
room.
I just want, it's about the oak that has the branches over the road.
So we can prune it. It's just taking enough of the canopy that the tree may not survive. It just depends on how much.
So there's nothing on the other side of the tree.
No, it goes like up like this a little bit, but it's not growing. There's nothing coming out this way, except for like one thing right here.
Well, it's a pretty darn healthy tree to me, except for that one branch that's cumbersome. I mean, that's not safe looking.
For the record, I agreed with you.
And don't forget, these trees soak up so much carbon, especially a tree that size. You gotta think about that. So that's my concern about the oak. That looks pretty darn good to me. The hickory looks dead from here.
Some of the trees on these lists are on here, like I was saying earlier, for limits, and not for their current health. Like we can prune this tree. It's just I can't guarantee that it would be alive in 10 years.
Are we considering 49 right now?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, I want to see it approved.
Maybe that it's in a town-owned parcel, so whatever Sean wants to do.
49 is the hickory, right?
Yeah, 49. No, 49 is like,
I'm sorry, I'm talking about,
That oak is 49.
yeah,
the hickory's 48, right?
that's right.
The hickory is
Which,
50.
48 and 50.
48 and 50. The
I'm
51
gonna change the way I'm sharing my screen. Give me a moment, please. Sorry, I'm just gonna pull up the list so we're looking at both things. Let me reshare.
So you're open to pruning and not taking down number 49.
correct.
It sounds good to me.
And that sounds good to you too, Sean.
yeah, I thought it was healthy enough to give it a shot.
Yeah, I looked at it as well. I thought it
I
looked.
celebrate every live oak at this point. So we've taken down.
Do you want to do 50 while we're here and it was on the screen?
What's that?
You want to discuss 50, there were the two, there was the hickory and the oak in this, so we might as well do 49.
Yeah, no, I think, the hickory was not good.
That had the cavity in the
Yeah,
center.
Was that 50 or was that 48?
There's two hickories, the one we're talking about is 50.
Okay.
And that was okay with you to remove that one? Pretty good. On its way out. Not remove 49, remove 50. Right.
And then 48.
According to be the slide before. Yes, that's insane.
Maybe we should have sat you next to Sean.
I got a laser pointer in the truck. Alright.
Thanks, Don.
So, a similar situation with the other hickory. It's just a lot. There's not a lot of canopy on the tree. So, from my perspective, sort of every leaf kind of counts for this tree. If you start taking out the lower limbs to get that overhead clearance, you know, the tree may live, but it may not. It just depends on how much fight is in the tree, and with droughts and heat waves becoming a more and more regular thing, it's not a guarantee is all.
Nothing, it's not much canopy on the other side.
No, yeah, it's good. It's immediate forest right there, so it's not putting anything out. It's following the light that's coming in from the road.
What was your recommendation, Sean?
I marked to prune it. It's healthy. It is. It's gonna keep going for the road because it's going for the sun. And I don't know, there's a pretty good void behind it. Again, a lot of these trees were dwarfed by massive oak trees that have since died. So sometimes their canopies are leaning away from the tree that's not there anymore.
So there's a
I
chance
don't know,
that
it's got a shot. You can see the sunlight behind. I'd rather see that one. It's relatively healthy. Come on over here.
I don't know. I know.
Yeah, I wrote for 48, 40, 49 that they look pretty good, so you might.
I would admit, it's hard to stand back, whether it's from your windshield or 100 feet away, and picture what 25 feet is. It's pretty aggressive above. When you're looking at 15 and 25 feet, might look the same thing. So, like, some of those canopies are 60, 80 feet up.
So Sean, you're saying you think it could be pruned with sort of not by not taking off the whole top of the tree, but just this piece? I don't know if you guys can see my cursor on the screen. Yeah, okay. So like just the one over the road?
Right.
Is it possible to do less than 25 feet? You know, we discussed that on Farm Road, I don't know how that actually works.
Or was it just an animal?
A different animal, and then for the planning board, it's a question of removal. It's like a black and white removal, yes or no.
So it sounds like we're leaning towards keep on this one.
I've already crossed it off my list.
Okay,
Okay.
There's someone else to talk. Do we want to jump to Tom Trainers?
yeah,
Yep,
I think
Tom's-
this was 29.
The Tom's is on the non-scenic road list,
Oh.
right on Washington Street.
Maybe we should. Charlie, you're in a hurry?
And I think
No,
it
I'm
was,
not in a hurry, but Washington is very scenic.
it's,
What?
No
It
offense,
might be,
Tom.
but it's nothing senior than scenic road in our town. Sorry,
I-
Tom.
Just a
Fine.
joke, sorry.
So should we go to 15 curve then?
18.
Which street, which tree number was that? Let's see. That's also not scenic. It's 18.
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay. You're right, it is. 18 A and B and 19. So let me go to the PowerPoint. 18, not A and B and 19. Oh, they're all together here.
Yeah, so let's sort of refresh my memory. There's 3 trees right in a row. This closest one, again, sort of the nature of this presentation. It's hard to see with the lighting, but there's some rot down here and some rot in the back on this closest tree. So this one does have some health concerns. The one, this guy right here, not this big stem. There's a tree kind of hidden by the pole. Is growing in between the wires. So it's healthy, but it's growing in between, like on the top of the pole, we have 3 wires right next to each other. It's growing between the high voltage wires. So no matter how it fails, it's going to hit the wire. And as the tree gets thicker, it'll eventually rub up against the wire and become sort of a pine, a situation like that pine. So there's two larger oaks, again, one with rot, one with not, but it's so close to the wires. And then there is a small oak. Here's more photos. So yeah, this guy is the one with the rot. You can see the base is swollen, and there's a seam right here. And then there's this oak, which is growing in between the wires, which I do not like. And then you can't see the third one. There's a smaller oak that's just a small little thing with hardly any canopy. That's just like almost horizontal over the wires with some decline in deadwood. If you go back to the other my PowerPoint, I think you can barely see it.
So there's notes here on 18AB that's also a butter requested.
Yes, the abutter reached out to Eversource asking for removal. So the smaller oak is this guy right here, sort of coming out from the hill. This limb is like half of the canopy of this thing is dead. Like there's no leaves on it. Again, it's hard to see you guys all the way back there, but I promise. That oak is declining.
I think the resident, is it Anya?
Yep, I'm here.
Do you have any comments or questions?
I guess, the only comments that I do have is that one tree looks very, very unhealthy, and it makes us very, very nervous. We have a little one at home, and we've had an arborist other than Eversource come out and say that, that tree is in really bad shape, and really the 2 trees that are straddling the pole make us very nervous. And I think, to Matt's point, if anything were to happen, I think it would have a huge impact, not just to our residents, but also to our neighbors and whatever other circuits it's connected to. And I think with Matt's help, we were also able to identify that third tree that's kind of dying at the top and leaning over the wires is probably not very good. So, we love Sherborn, and it's a really, really beautiful town. But in the spirit of keeping, things safe, we would really prefer for these trees to go. And I think that would kind of leave a, clean landscape as far as the power lines for this particular area. And, just a side note, I've worked in the utility industry for over 10 years, both in New York and Massachusetts. And I've seen how much damage trees like this can do. So, in the spirit of safety, we'd like to see these trees taken care of. Thank you.
You. Okay.
So I get a yes, no, yes. The furthest one in that picture is kind of ridiculous. It's just gonna lean over onto the wires. And it's not gonna be a tree even if it was left alone. The closest one, this picture doesn't do it justice. If you stand at her house and look at the back of it, maybe it's since he took this picture. If you bark the entire back, you can almost see the crack. It's falling off. It's failing right now.
Yeah, the bark is coming off in chunks, and there's like what looks like powder at the base of the tree. And you know what? Since we've lived in this house for 2 years, we've had trees like fall on like the lines that are connected to our house, and it just kind of has caused some of the trees falling have caused quite a bit of trouble. So I would just hate for something to happen to our street and our neighbors, and of course our residents.
So Sean, you're suggesting that one of them not be removed? Is that what you said?
Try going through the primaries. They chose to put the wires on the side of that tree. It's actually probably the healthiest one in that cluster. I'd opt to keep it. It's healthy, and the only thing close to the wires is the entire trunk of the tree. If that falls, it wouldn't have mattered if it was 10 feet away from the wires in the middle. I know why. I can see why Matt wants to take it, but I want to keep it.
It is, yeah. I mean, I don't like it because I work for the utility, but it is objectively, it is healthy tree. If the wires were on the other side of the street, I would not be talking about it.
Yeah. That's my take. So A is a yes, B is the one that I believe it's B. Actually, I know it's B. B is the one that's going straight up through that I keep. And then
So
So
A is the
18A
one with rot. A is rot.
A is the leaner. It's
I
further
see.
away.
I see.
19 is the rot.
B is the rot. I mean, one is one and one is the other. As long as we agree which one is which now.
I think B is the one that's standing straight up, isn't it? Heidi, you got a picture of those from the street that you can read the number?
Yeah, I have a picture from the street, but they all look like each other, and do you
I can
We're
help
gonna look-
identify as best as I can,
do you want me
but
to
I won't go
share?
outside in the dark.
Do you want me to share the PDF? Give me a second. Let me switch to this one. Share.
Yeah, I
Okay,
think,
so this is 18A, which is the leaner. We're clear on that, right?
Okay.
yeah,
It's the leaner,
Then
the B is the one that's standing straight up.
18B doesn't look unhealthy in this picture. 18B.
we can't see the picture that you're looking at.
You can't see the PDF? Oh, sorry,
No.
sorry. I didn't complete my action here. Okay, so 18A. Sorry, I have to adjust things. Give me a second. Here's 18A, which was the leaner.
Okay.
Okay, that's the leaner. Here's 18B, which does not look unhealthy in this particular picture, so that might be the healthy one. This
I think
and
that
then-
one at the booth though, so it's the one on the right. Yeah, 18B is the one on the right in that double picture.
So is that 18A and 18B?
Can you zoom in on the one to the left of the pole
It's.
in that same
No,
picture?
I
so
can't
we-
zoom in because of the way the pictures were sent to me, but Heidi, you said you have these on your phone, right? And you can zoom in at higher resolution?
Yeah.
Here's 19 has the big cavity in the bottom and the seam. So 19 is the unhealthy one.
Right.
So 19 remove, 18A remove, and 18B is the healthy one. Which this one has the cavity, so this is 19. So this is 18B. So the question before the planning board is we have a recommendation. I think we're all okay. Well, I would just potentially suggest that it sounds like the property owner and the tree warden are in agreement to remove 18A and 19. So I would suggest, based on the discussion, that makes sense to me as well.
Can I just
Yeah.
ask a question?
Fl-
So for 18B, which is the healthy one, can you just clarify? So I know that it's healthy, but the concern of it being in the middle of the wires versus like what would happen if that tree fell or a branch fell, and like what possible impact that could have or wouldn't have. I just want to make sure I have a better understanding. So like, yes, it looks healthy, but it's in the middle of the wires. So like, what are the pros and cons or the potential impacts that I should consider?
To the rest of us,
Mm-hmm.
the tree in the middle of the wires is no more of a risk to the wires than the tree 10 feet away. I mean, if an 80-foot oak tree is going to
Okay.
fall,
Yeah, that's fair. Well, hopefully none of them fall, right?
right. We can't take all the trees down that may or may not fall on wires, or we won't have trees on. That one
Right.
just happens to be really straight. I guess it beat the pruning crews up.
I think the wires. I think the tree was there before the wires.
And you know, it's a rare opportunity to keep a tree on the wire side because I would never tree grow from a young tree up under the wires like that again, because they'll never let it. So it would have to be across the street to be a healthy oak tree next century.
Brett has a question.
Yeah, so if we take away 18A and 19, is B going to be more exposed? Like, is it then going to get more stress? Like, is it being protected by those two trees that are there, and will it get more stress once those two are gone?
It's more of an issue with pine trees. Especially since on the yard side it looks pretty open. This guy's getting hit by the winds. He'll probably be fine. If it were a pine tree, then I would be a little bit more concerned.
Okay, so what I think the planning board is facing, it sounds like there's not any opposition to putting 19 and 18A on the removal list. For 19B, what I'm hearing is that Eversource, the property owner and Eversource have suggested to remove it, and the tree warden, the town's tree warden, is suggesting to keep it. So really, I think if I understand this process, this comes down to a planning board vote about, wait, is this a scenic road?
Yes.
Yes,
Senior-
It is.
Okay.
So
So this is a shade tree, this would be a shade tree removal, which is the planning board's purview to approve or deny.
So Steph, maybe one step before that, in this discussion, the homeowner changed their mind based on the discussion that was just had that Sean just raised.
I don't know if you did.
I don't know if you
No,
didn't say.
I
that's why I'm asking.
didn't change my mind. I'm for removal of all three.
And any thoughts on this, Jim?
I think we should keep 18B and remove the other two.
Rob?
I guess the question I'd have is you definitely would want to remove it once it starts touching the wire. I mean, is that
I
gonna
feel like
happen?
it is. I think that's what Eversource observed.
Well, it's growing in between them. Is it actually touching the high voltage phase, one of the high voltage phase wires?
It is very close, and I would say it's close enough that in the wind it could potentially knock it around and make contacts.
Yeah, I think it's very close, if not touching presently.
Yeah, but my notes say touching or almost touching.
So we still don't cut trees down because they're touching the wires. The trees were there before the wires. They have the ability to move the wires. They just haven't. It's not touching the newest set of primaries that were hung during an upgrade about a decade ago.
Eversource, what do you say about if we had a storm, kind of a major storm come through, how would that tree react, and how would the wires react with the trees, and what would the chance of there being some kind of a power outage or some issue with that tree?
It's close enough to the wires for me that I would want it removed because it is almost touching, if not touching. In terms of its biological health, it's a healthy tree. There's a certain amount of subjectivity with the hazard analysis.
Can you guys see my
But
screen now?
Yeah.
I put Google Maps up on Street View. I
So
believe if we were-
there's
if
two
we were-
circuits on this road, and so there's two sets of high voltage wires. It's between one set and adjacent to the other.
The one
So-
on the right hand side of the road could fall off.
there's wires here, right?
Perspective is probably not contributing to. But yeah,
I just bring this up because it really shows the proximity to the wires.
It's not good. It's kind of scary, to be honest, but
Oops, I think I went too far.
you're at my
The red-
neighbors now.
Red, did you have any input? Any thoughts?
My one question, I guess, and you, Frank, may have covered this at the beginning, and I just am not retaining it, but Are we gonna do this exercise again next year? How soon will we revisit these trees?
We have a cycle for our pruning. And for these for these storm resilience projects, you only get one go at them in terms of pruning. We can't. It's a one and done deal. It's considered a capital upgrade, not maintenance. As far as the removals go, there's no set schedule. It depends on recent reliability numbers, plus my subjective opinion on what I see out in the field and what circuits I think are at risk of circuits with poor reliability numbers that have potential for poor reliability numbers in the future. So there's no schedule.
Okay.
But as Sean said, the last one he was at was 2017.
But that
Yeah.
wasn't these trees, right?
No, but it's just saying that they don't, it's not a yearly thing. If Brett's looking for saying, are we gonna do this next year again? It's usually not a yearly thing.
I have circuits that have never been assessed for removals. And I have circuits that I go back to every 2 years because they're problem children.
I mean, they prune every. There's never a year they're not.
No, but as far as having a tree hearing. I'm not any.
For a number of years, it was, they're doing the pruning, they gotta get every piece of deadwood down.
So basically, if
That's
this tree is a problem child, or if the circuit that it's on is a problem child, then it will get looked at again sooner. Whereas if it's not trouble, it will be several years until you look at it again. Or
Correct. Unless something changes about itself, you let me know.
okay.
Is this circuit a problem child?
No, I mean, I don't know what the numbers are off the top of my head. I know what the absolute worst performers are, but
This is a very small road, right? So it's a
this
dead
is
end,
about
right?
13,000 volts, which is sort of the middle ground for.
Yeah, you gotta remember the wires on curve are not feeding curve. All the wires on the right, it's a circuit that comes up from the substation on a Framingham. Underground on Western Ave comes up, cruises down curve, Whitney into Ashland. So it's a very important circuit for them.
So the reason I wanted to bring up Google Maps was to look at whether there was other canopy and like maybe from across the road. And I do see other canopy. It's my opinion that I would be. We're hearing from a property owner who feels this is a safety issue, who has worked in the utility industry in the past. I feel uncomfortable myself going against that recommendation. And then were something to happen, our vote was what caused it. So that's where I stand right now. Sean, sorry,
you.
I do think it's a beautiful tree. I agree with you, but given the circumstances, I feel a little bit uncomfortable not permitting this one to be cut.
Thank you. And I just want to add, I think Sherborn thus far has been pretty lucky when it comes to storms, but living here for 2 years, it makes me really, really nervous that, I drive around and I work for National Grid. So I'm like, oh my gosh, like some of these trees are really scary. And I think here we have the opportunity to be proactive and, of course it's mostly my peace of mind, but let's face it, if something were to happen, I'm not maybe I would have power and, somebody else wouldn't. So I think, we have this opportunity to be proactive when it comes to safety measures. And I really trust Matt's judgment. I think he took a good look at these trees. And yeah, I would really appreciate if you would just give it a second thought. And I guess I'm addressing Sean mostly. Thank you.
I mean, it is a planning board vote, so it's the 5 voting members of the planning board who would be needing to make this decision. So
of course,
I'm curious where other planning board members stand on it.
So some have already commented on that. I would say that our focus is on safety, trying to minimize danger on a scenic road. It's always a shame to lose a good tree, but if the risk outweighs the benefits, and we have some conflict of comments on thoughts on that, so I'd err on the side of safety and also on the side of what the homeowner wants.
Thank you.
I agree as well.
All right, so are we ready? Well, we're not voting on it.
No. So I think Rob is the only one who has not voiced an opinion on this particular tree.
Well, if I heard correctly, it sounded to me like this tree is actually in between two of the phases of a 13 kV line, and it's very close to touching at
I
least
think it
one of
is
them.
touching, yeah.
Okay, I would vote to remove.
Thank you.
So I guess the question then, it would be, Jim, if we put remove on this tree, would that preclude you from closing the hearing?
No. I mean, I think it should be. I think any of those trees could be a risk on the opposite side of the road, but it's a healthy
it's
tree.
true. It's true.
But I'll move on.
Okay, so it sounds like we're saying that 18B is a remove as well as 18A and 19.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you all. Thank you for hearing me out. That means a lot.
Thank you for joining. We did have another person join the Zoom. Gregory Kennan appears to be the name. If you are here for a particular address or tree, you're welcome to speak up to let us know so we can prioritize that and let you go. Or if you just want to hang around and listen to us debate trees, that's fine too. You are muted in case you're trying to speak. If not, we can move on to Tom, to however we want to proceed with the rest of the trees. Oh, unmuted. Go ahead.
Thank you. I'm just observing at this point. Thank you.
Okay. So then do we proceed with Washington Street because Tom's here, or do we what's the preference of the planning board moving forward?
I think we could be okay allowing Tom to talk about his tree.
Right, so that's a public shade tree.
Right, so the planning board doesn't weigh in on that one.
Right. He asked for number 29.
29? Yep.
Oh, we go from 28 to 30. Let me get some guidance from our Eversource person here. Let me share my screen again. PowerPoint. Where would I find tree number 29?
So that should be on there. It should be above that one.
26 to 28 and then 30. Let's just see.
The one without a picture.
I can't hear if someone's speaking to me.
Go down a little bit and click on one without a picture. One of the ones without a picture. So it's should be 2 or 3 above that one. Oh no, we're on Washington Street. We want to go down. Going down. Just click on any 23. Just keep going. Oh, almost there. It should be the next one.
The next one is 30.
29.
So let me switch. I don't see a 29 in the list, just scrolling through.
Oh, that's
the
error.
slides. That's okay.
Yeah.
We have some photos that we had, so let me pull up 29. Oh, there's a bunch near 97 Washington. Should we just do them all in order? 26 through 29?
Yeah, 26 through 28. There's no
20
word.
are all 97 Washington. So let me pull up the PDF. Just a moment, please.
The,
I wish Zoom would let me share a screen instead of a program, because it would make things a lot easier. When I share a work, I can always share a whole screen and show and move things in and out. Okay, so 97 Washington is the address in question. So this is tree number 26, which is labeled at 97 Washington.
26 is 75 Washington.
Oh, I was just going by the bookmark. So hold on, let me look at
So 27, it says 97 Washington through 29, so 27, 28, 29.
Who's crazy enough to stand in the middle of Scudder's Hill?
That's why I don't have any photos.
Okay, so this is
So-
27.
Tom, was
And
there
I'm
a
gonna-
particular one that you were interested
Yeah,
in?
This one.
as I read the list, the first ones, 26, 27, 28 are locust trees. I don't have any issues with those. They're far from the front yard. The one I had a question on was the last one, 29. It's a very large Norway maple, and it's some distance from I thought from the line, and I'm just wondering why that can't be pruned, why the thought was to take it down. So I guess that's my question.
So with the storm resiliency project, we'd be one taking a lot of canopy. The tree already has a lean on it towards the wires, and then there's a section of canopy on the house side of the tree, not the road side of the tree, that is dead and declining. So it's not the healthiest tree. I mean, it's not the worst, but it's stressed by something.
It dropped early this year too, didn't it?
Yeah, I think it's dropped a limb or two. Yeah.
I missed that. What was that comment?
It dropped its leaves pretty early, did it not?
Yes. Yeah, you can
Okay.
see in the photo. Like this is the tree, and there's not a lot of leaves going on compared to its neighbors. Like I was saying earlier, if the tree drops its leaves significantly early, that's a sign that it is conserving resources because it's not happy.
Okay, I guess we can part with it.
What was your recommendation, Sean?
Take down. The only one. I gave it maybe the 26, but only because it was quite far. There's not a scarier place in town to try to pick up a tree, work on the wires, stop, take pictures of trees,
We know.
Yeah.
slide sideways in a snowstorm. So that needs to be considered because we've had several trees on wires and have wreaked havoc with the town campus. I can't tell you how many electrical failures we've had up here because of trees in that area. Heck, the road caught fire right next to Tom's house too. When a primary fell on the road, and stayed alive. So you got to weigh that when you look at some of the trees in that area. The ramifications of it coming down.
So your vote was 27, 28, 29 will remove,
Yeah.
and 26 would.
Yeah, those locusts.
No,
We just talked about the maple. The nearby trees are black locusts, and they're also an invasive species as well.
I'm okay with 26 as well. I mean, we don't
Remove them.
have to go through this whole list right now.
So Tom, how do you feel about that?
I'm fine taking them all down.
Thanks, Tom.
Just don't leave a
Alright, so-
mess.
We will not. We'll do our best.
So if we go back to the scenic road trees, of the list that we have, are there any other? Is there anybody else that wants to contest any of the trees? And that includes Sean and Addie Mae and anybody else either here or on Zoom Live.
I think Greg was here for number 16 and 18, 16 and 17, 129 Hollis. Greg, was that your interest?
Greg, can
Yeah.
sorry, so he was just observing.
Yeah, but I
Well, I was just observing in case there were any questions with respect to those trees. I mean, my understanding is that they're marked for removal. And if there were any information I could provide or anything like that, I would, but otherwise, no, thank you.
You're happy to have those removed?
Yes.
Okay.
Those,
But they did.
Let's talk, does anyone have a picture? Those are a really good example of what happens to a tree that otherwise shouldn't be there and gets pruned. And they didn't do enhanced pruning or anything else, but there was almost nothing left of the trees. So it's something to consider. You know, not so much with a huge mature oak, but those aren't.
I go to 217.
That's 17.
17 is this one.
Yeah. And
Yep.
16.
16 is this.
Yeah. It's the tree, and it is just a stick. It's a black cherry, so it just grows straight up. It doesn't have it. They very rarely have any sort of large limbs. So when we prune those things under the wires, there's nothing to cut back to.
It looks out of place.
Yeah, they look terrible. There's a whole section of Bullard Street coming in from Millis that looks like someone just took a hedge trimmer and went right below the wires. It looks horrible. They shouldn't be coming in. Sorry. That's kind of where we're at. With those two. He had requested that after the pruning.
All right, so 16 and 17 were
Remove.
good to be removed. Was there anybody else that had any comments on any of the trees that are on the list under the scenic road? So I know, Sean, you had a couple of trees. You had, was it 3, 8? We talked
8
about
we've already
8.
discussed.
So 3 you had, and
You want to just go fly through the list so we.
well, I was just going to say, if you have any that you want to keep, all the rest of them, if nobody else is questioning it, then why don't we remove them? Then
That's fine.
we just, it's kind of like a consent agenda, right? We just vote all of them. But if there's any questions, I know you had questions on 3, 8, 9, but we talked about 8, 9, so
Let's do that.
so 3.
Can you guys see tree 3 in my screen?
Is that
On the
Yeah.
on the left-hand side, does the bookmark say 3?
I think I got a better picture of it on my PowerPoint.
Okay,
That
let
shows-
me switch to the PowerPoint. All right. Switching back and forth is kind of a pain. Let's see, where's
so
the
that's a
PowerPoint?
maple with overhang proximity and previously painted.
Who painted? Is it blue paint or red?
There's some very old blue paint on it. I'm not sure who would have done it. I haven't had the circuit profiled in my time at Eversource, but
It's Christie.
yeah, we can blame Chris. So this is the tree. I think I used it as one of my examples at the beginning of, you know, if it had a healthy canopy, it could probably, I think it could take the pruning. But it's dropped almost all, it's dropped like 90% of its leaves already, compared to its neighbors. So it's stressed by something. And then we would be pruning a chunk of the overhanging canopy out, which would just stress it further. So that is why I included it.
I'm
That's
trying
a
to
question.
not picture that tree. Is that in front of someone's house?
No, it's a town-owned forested parcel.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Down by Greenwood?
I think so.
Okay.
I think it's yeah, question.
Say stress, because, I mean, granted, we've had a drought. And a lot of trees have lost their leaves
Mhm.
that are healthy. So how do you delineate or decide or distinguish or?
So it's based on its neighbors, right? So they've all been exposed to the same environmental conditions. They've all we've had like a drought every year for the last few years, but every single tree in this photo has been exposed to those same conditions. And this is the one that's standing out like a sore thumb. So that's what tells me that there's something a little funky with it. And it could be anything. It could be an invasive. It could be the pest that's going at it. It could be the road salt. Sugar maples are kind of a Goldilocks tree.
Take eating the road salt.
Just trees, or there are tree to the end where you're just.
It's hard to see, but it's like a small tree that's coming out this.
Yeah, it's just really small tree.
Two is, yeah. It's a small diameter tree. It's like it's 10 inches.
The tree's gonna be a lollipop when you're done, so you're saying.
Yeah.
If that limb hanging over is gonna be gone.
Yep, it would be the lower few. Yeah.
So are you saying taking the whole tree down?
Correct.
Any comments on that, Sean?
Where I was out there, I thought it looked healthy. Why don't you take these pictures?
Today and yesterday.
Did you?
Yep. This project was put together during April, May when the leaves were coming in. So we got a double dose of seeing this guy have issues with leaves both times this year.
I mean, I'm okay with it. It's set back. Technically, it's probably not a scenic road tree because I think it's behind a wall. I mean, if you're gonna just leave a lollipop stick up, that's not gonna make it. Probably should do. I'm okay with it above the line.
I have a picture of it as well. It's you know looking, and I took that this morning, so I saw if it's a little bit closer up, but
Yeah, it's awkward looking.
do you want to take a better look?
Yeah.
This one in picture before.
Okay. It fell fast.
The proportions and
So is there,
Okay,
I'm
so-
sorry, I'm having a hard time hearing the room. Is there a decision on number 3?
Yeah, we just made it remove.
Take it.
Okay, so we've done 8 and 9. The next one that you had was 15.
Yes, the big pine tree.
Oh, that would be such a shame.
My biggest comment, I already made my spiel about white pines. And they shouldn't scare me. They should scare everyone in a windstorm. But the fact that it's got wires rubbing against it should never be a reason to cut a pine because they've chosen to not move the wires. I think so they can say it's caught fire 3 times. I've gone to one of those fires. They're smoking. Look at us. You can't put it. You have to stand on and watch it. But they can move the wires.
Can I don't know much about that. Where would they move the wires? Because the road's right there.
So they can hang them on an offset bracket.
Oh, okay.
Pole in the distance there isn't a great example. The pole that would be that he's standing next to, I think, doesn't even have a bracket on it. And they did this quite well on Farm Road to change those trees because the wires were going to go right through massive trees. So they hang the bracket off to the side and then they hang the primaries off. Again, it's still a massive white pine that's going to take down everything in sight if it comes down.
and the canopy's not within that radius, the 25-foot radius.
I mean, the main stems are, but yeah, for the overhanging stuff, you would just keep on.
You could see the fire. Right on the plot, right off the plaza.
It's not even gonna want steep on now.
Yes.
Similar to the ones in front of his house.
They do some of them off like this last year when we were running, yeah.
So I put a question mark because it's your guys' tall.
It's a shame. It's a big, beautiful tree.
I don't think it should go there.
Mass. We know what it'll look like after it comes down in the storm. It's whether or not Mother Nature decides to fix that.
So when it comes to like big canopy trees like this, if I'm taking down a hazard tree, if there's rot in it or decline, like in the maple that we were just looking at, it's not really, I don't want to replace a healthy tree with an unhealthy tree. But for something that's big like that, I could definitely consider replanting of something somewhere else, somewhere in Sherborn. Obviously, I don't want to put it in the roadside because the sapling would die, but the replanting is something that could make sense. And
Like move the tree?
no,
Okay.
no, we're about putting in a new tree somewhere in town. The hard part is finding a spot for them.
Oh, I see. It's just the location here, like if you look at it as you're driving down the road, especially from Washington, it's just so iconic looking, right? Like it's so, I don't know if you guys, if everyone drove by it, but I can put it up on Google Maps if that's helpful.
Years old.
Yeah, I'd say like 100, 120. But this guy grew up here when New England was farmland, so it would have shot up. So without coring it, there's no way to know for sure. He grew up with full sun. So it was screaming. But yeah, I mean that's an old tree. Old for a white pine.
With it being so seemingly strong and large, how would it fare in that bad windstorm?
Whenever someone asks me about whether or not a white pine is safe with regard to their house, I say the only safe white pine is one that's one tree length away from your house. There's I can look at a white pine that is totally dead with no needles on the tree, with rot fruit, and it'll stay up for years, and then healthy one would fall over. They can be a very fickle species.
I'm showing the canopy on Woodland Street, and this is the tree we're talking about. It stands up so much taller than the rest of the canopy. It's very, especially at this time of year when a lot of the rest of this canopy is thinning, it's really iconic looking to me. It sort of like has its own presence on the roadway. The picture that I took on my camera when I drove by, this doesn't really do it justice. But it's,
Posing when you drive under.
you know, it would be a big hole in, if our charge on scenic roads is canopy and shade trees, it would be an alteration of the road to take this one down, and it just feels like a big shame to do that if it's healthy.
Changes the skyline.
I didn't catch
Right.
that.
It would be open once, if that were removed, that sky would be open.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the conundrum is safety versus scenic.
Here it is here. Look how, you
I
know,
think we're right in the middle of that balance. We're in the center of the fulcrum on those two.
Yeah.
Sean, you said it was up to the planning board to decide. Do you have a leaning one way or the other?
I think
I guess-
points, and that's coming from the guy that's gonna be standing next to the thing. Some January snowstorm when the wind's whipping around, because that's when the white pines come down. But I still, I'm glad it's your decision.
Is there a house? In back of it, or?
No, not within a tree length of it, I don't think. But if that thing came down the road, it'd be a road closure for sure.
And a really unhappy Sean.
You don't have those kind of meters.
Having trouble hearing the room.
I cannot support removing that one.
It's a house. I don't know if it's a tree length away or not.
What did you say, Jim?
I can't.
He was concerned about if a house was nearby, that if it fell and hit the house. I mean, it's one thing if it hits the wires and you have a road cleanup and the wires down. But if you're not going to hit a house, then maybe that will lean up the decision. So in my picture, you can see a house in the background, but I can't tell.
It's not that near it. I parked in the nearest driveway when I went to look at that one, and the house isn't that close, I don't think. But I thought I heard Jim say something like, I cannot support taking it down, or I support taking it down. Did you make a
I
definitive statement?
cannot support removing that one, especially if there's a technical solution that Eversource could offer by either bracketing those lines or some other means. It's up to them, but
I'm with Jim on this.
Rob?
Yeah, well, can we have Eversource address that? Can they move the wires out?
I'm a tree guy. I have almost no power or influence over the electrical people. I have to deal with the wires as they are. I'm the tree guy at the electrical company.
So then that would be something for us to kind of put on our list to reach out and initiate,
Well,
I
it's
guess,
not really-
whoever's in charge of that.
You know, that's what shows to just leave it uninsulated primary laying up against the pine tree. They're probably trying to kill the pine. That's not really for any of us to worry about at the moment.
Right.
We ready for a straw poll on this? I'll go first. I think we should keep it. Especially since it's not close to a house. It's iconic. It's been there for a long time. Hopefully we'll be there another long time. And if it does go, okay, we'll lose some power for several hours. Lose roadway. There's a lot of cars that drive down that road. But I vote for not cutting it down.
I vote for not cutting it down. This is one tree that's been identified. I'm sure there's many others like it, which have not been identified that also could be a risk of falling. It's a healthy tree otherwise. And I think there's a technical solution for mitigating the risk of the primaries that are adjacent to it.
Derek?
Me? Oh, I already stated my opinion. Sorry.
Okay, then that was.
Oh, to keep it.
Okay, Brett,
Yeah, I'd keep it.
Rob,
I'm not really comfortable with having a tree there where there's wires rubbing against it and ready to start fires, but I guess we could revisit it if Eversource, doesn't sound like they're comfortable with it either, so maybe they'll find a solution within a year or two to move the wires, and if they don't, we can maybe revisit it at some point in the future. So I'm fine with the majority of the board's opinion, I guess.
okay. And then I think we talked about 48 and 49 already, right? Were there any other on your list, son?
I think you made it all the way through.
Okay, at least for the scenic road trees.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
I just had one question on the 3233 is like it's like two trunks left of a triple that where one of them was removed, and the recommendation is to remove the other two. And
That's not a scenic road tree.
what?
That's not a scenic road tree, so that's not part of our vote.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Well, actually, I still want to mention this because it's a question for Eversource, actually. I didn't have any opinion about those trees, but I noticed pretty close behind it, like farther into the woods, but not very far. There's another triple trunk tree that's very tall and totally dead and dead for years. And it kind of looked like it was, I mean, it's not leaning in any particular way, but I'm thinking they might want to take a look at that and, or I don't know if they evaluated it already, but I'm just wondering if that's something that should get not totally, that would be a good candidate to be not totally removed, but topped so that it wouldn't fall into the wires.
Pretty far back in the property though, isn't it?
Like
I think 32 and 33 is like just behind the stone wall, but if I'm looking at the one that you're speaking about, it's like another 10, 20 feet behind.
Yeah, something like that.
And I don't know Eversource to what degree you go onto private properties to do that kind of thing or stay in the right of way.
If it's not within even the expanded specs, it would not be something that we would be doing.
Tree
Okay.
number 6. Tree number 6. is there a way that that could be pruned versus removed? It looks like more of an,
Yeah, with trees that small, I mean, I'm not looking at the photo right now, but if trees that small, there's not usually a lot to work with.
so 18 inch, okay.
It's mostly. Looks like it's striking the horizon, right?
Okay, so one of the ways that we can do this, and the way that I'm proposing is that we vote all the trees to be removed, that is on the list, with the exception of the ones that we discussed, and we just straw poll voted to keep, which I think were, and help me with this, Heidi, I think it's 15. It's 48, 49.
It's nine.
And
And oh, yeah. Boom. Yeah, I got that. Sorry, I missed that. Not removed from, right. So a 9.
Does that work for you, Sean? Just those 4?
9, 15,
48.
48, 49. That's what I got.
So we can move that now, and you can keep the hearing open and continue on to discussion with your trees. So, that's the motion that I made, that all the trees on this list, with the exception of 9, 15, and 48 and 49 be not removed, and all the rest to be removed.
Does that include like the smaller diameter undergrowth? I don't know if you talked about that. Because part of this enhanced pruning specification is flat cutting the undergrowth as well.
No, the trees that are coming up into the wires that aren't, that are gonna be cut down, rather than.
And removed.
Yeah, just the small stuff that's.
Just this one.
That's not tagged.
They're not tagged because it would be
Too small.
it would
Right.
be
It
it would be hundreds of tags.
And a lot of, especially in that area, when you look at it, you see that all right, well, there's the stone wall. Had we been mowing it, you know, it's almost like a lapse of 10 to 15 years of good mowing along the stone walls. They wouldn't have been there in the first place. Now they're shooting directly on the wires. They're never gonna make it.
I think earlier in the meeting, Matt, you said 1-inch diameter and smaller. Is that correct? For small undergrowth?
Sure, smaller.
1 inch
I'm
is
sorry.
even considered a tree.
12 inches smaller.
12 inches smaller.
Oh.
That's going
Oh,
right
I
up under the wire.
misunderstood. Okay.
Right now.
I mean, most of that, especially along Washington, is pretty unsightly anyway.
Right.
Anybody have any strong thoughts on that? Any comments from the board? Hearing none, I'd like to add that to that motion, that and I'm not going to restate the first part of it, but the undergrowth is part of that. The removal or cutting of the undergrowth is part of that as well. Do I hear a second?
Second.
So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Rob?
Aye.
Brett?
Hi.
Steph?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
And I, Frank Hookham, aye as well. Okay, we can continue on to the rest of your trees.
Excellent.
You guys want to go through the whole list with me? Well, we'll do the same thing. We'll skip. First one I even questioned was 30. At 110 watt.
A or B.
I think, weren't they kind of like together?
Yes, it's a double stem tree. I only have really issues with the one stem, but for a tree like that, if you take one stem and there's anything around the tree you don't want it to fall on it, you should take both.
You're right.
Poison ivy.
It's high enough, it's not even gonna hardly get pruned.
No, this is there's a little bit of swelling. There's a little bit of swelling at the stem joint. Clearance wise, this is not one I'm as much concerned about.
Like I said, I didn't look at the base of that part, although I did look at the base, did you mention it? You think it's rotted?
Yeah. I think we have a picture of the base.
Yeah.
Let me just see. Yeah, we have some better pictures. You want me to put them up, Sean?
Can you?
Yeah.
I looked at too many trees all at once. They all look the same.
Yeah, they all lead together.
It's not the one with a hole in it about 5 feet up. Right?
No.
No, it doesn't. So here's 30A and 30B.
It's just
You guys see it? You guys see it?
Not the base, it's up a little higher, but
Then the next one's probably a better image. There you go.
Okay, that was right before the hole with the leaf. Yes.
Poison ivy? Oof.
English ivy.
I even put this as a not short, so I'm okay with it.
So this one, there is a risk because
It's gonna, yeah, it's nowhere it's gonna drop.
yeah.
And the only place for it to go is onto the wires and road. The base system swelling, which could be indicative of rot. The joining is not the healthiest, but you know, that's also not the worst.
Alright, I got a note and it's a request. Number 31.
so what did you think about, what did you say about 30?
This is yes. And 31, I'm saying yes. But I'm asking if you can get them to take. I don't know if I even took a picture of that, but that was what I think Rob mentioned. What's that?
31.
14-foot rotten stump leaning against the pole. It used to be tied to the pole, now it leans against.
This is 31.
31. You didn't happen
It's
to take
got
a
a-
picture. You probably didn't take a picture of the You know what I'm talking about, right?
Is that it? You can see the shadow of the rock dump just
Yeah.
behind the hill. You know what it called? Yeah, not that picture. Yeah, there, it's from that one. See how it.
Yeah, there it is. Can you get someone to take that down for me?
If there's still a guy wire in it, I can't do it.
I don't think there is.
If there's not, then we can
I
grab it.
think we're running out of it, something hold it.
I can take a look at it. If there's not a guy in it, I can ask. I can get it. If there's not a guy wire in it, I can definitely get it.
The guy wire is holding up the stump right now. I mean, there's something.
I think the stumps, I think it's leaning against, what they did is they finally came out and threw an anchor. There's an anchor behind the pole now.
Okay.
So it's now just leaning against that anchor guy. That's all.
Yeah, that's the one
32.
that looks like it's about to fall apart any minute. That actually wasn't the one I was referring to.
I think looking like that 10 or 20. 32 and 33.
Yep.
I'd argue 34 as well.
What's that?
I said I'd argue 34 as well. I looked at that one. That one looked questionable. It looks like pretty decent.
This is
Well,
32 and
I would agree that
30.
the pruning's gonna be so hard in the canopy when we lost. What are you showing there?
That's 32 and 33.
32 and 33 here, and then I'm gonna flip to the next one of 32 and 33. This is the one Rob was talking about, the additional 2 stem behind it.
So I added this one because when the general rule of thumb for how much canopy a tree can lose is 1/3, and that tree has lost 1 out of 3 stems. So it seems healthy, but it's just one that raised an eyebrow when I was going through the tree list because of that general guideline.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Every time an oak falls, we show up and it's right in the middle, which I think is 85% of the oaks in Sherborn.
And
But I'm gonna opt to keep them still. They could prune them.
32 and 33.
But show us 34, because I felt, I agreed that there wouldn't be anything left.
Uh-oh.
That's probably have a good picture of it.
So this is 34. And then this is it.
Most of the
I'll look in the PowerPoint too.
Yep.
Oh, I've got let me share the PowerPoint. Share the PowerPoint. This is 34.
Oh, and the whole canopy's over the wires.
How long was dead ones?
there's enough around it too to balance out.
Yeah.
Yeah, the gap will get filled in by the other trees.
So that's a remove, Sean.
Yeah.
So you're keeping 32, 33.
Did I hear we're keeping 32 and 33?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
39.
39?
Well, that's the one we're going to talk about next.
There's 39. I think our pictures might be better on this one if you want me to switch.
Well, it's fine. That tree, although it's got some canopy over the wires, it's way. I don't think they're even pruning that canopy. It's 30 or 40 feet above.
It's just leaning into the lines.
They have the overhang.
It's over. But it's, I mean, the tree itself is healthy. So I want to keep it.
It's pretty substantial too.
Yeah.
And then
There's not much left on the wire side to wash up there.
yeah, tree number 40 is the spindly looking thing right next to it.
Oh, yeah.
This one?
Yep.
But that one's 40.
Yeah. Let's go.
Oh, it's got it.
So what'd you say with that one, Sean?
39.
39 kills me.
And 40?
40.
Okay.
41.
Two stemmed birch.
Saw something different than you did.
So yeah, it's just a little close. And it's really just the one stem that's closest I'm worried about, but it's the two stem trees.
I wish it were easier to flip back and forth because you can see, if I just put the PDF up, you can see for 41, you can see it's a two stemmed birch. And when you look at this, you can see that this stem does seem to have less foliage right now.
I'm not seeing anything right now.
Oh, sorry.
Hard to tell, but it looks so like.
All right, so here's the two stem, here's 41. And then here's the shot of it where you can see the one stem has a lot less foliage on it up in the canopy. But Sean, this one's you.
Both A and B.
A and B, Sean.
Yeah, the same. 43. I assume you got a picture of that one. Is that right?
Yeah, this is A and B on 43 on the town's photos. I can go to the PowerPoint too. 43. I'm gonna switch over to the power. So commit this to memory. I'm gonna switch over to the PowerPoint. Here's 43. Gosh, that looks healthy.
Yeah, these are on here for clearance. They're healthy, but they're close. One of them's closer than the other.
Yeah, I wanted to prune them. The beautiful trees.
So keep
Yeah,
42
that's
and
not
43.
through the pandemic that Mother Nature threw at it. Like just do, like through the pruning. We're keeping those too.
Cool.
Anything else?
45 trees, not.
45. That's just
No, it's not.
No, it's just a maybe.
I keep. There's another one up there near Woodland Street, right?
I think that's the last big one.
I tell you what, those last time.
The ones further down, 48 and 49, are the ones that we talked about already. That were
They were the scenic road ones.
yeah.
No, they also had 45.
Do you want to look at 45 in our pictures?
Jackson bases.
All right, so forget scratch that. Let's go.
46 and 47, that's all I got left.
Said 45 is removed.
Maybe we were getting to the end of the list and I was getting grumpy. I don't know.
Sometimes I look at a project too long.
I just wanted to get off Washington Street, really.
Yeah, right.
Down to only trees.
I had
know, we're not in the afternoon, we're getting run over.
No worries around.
So I initially said no on 46, but it's anyways. So that's.
last
We
was,
already talked about 48 and 49 on this list.
yes, it's the same
Here's the
trees.
scenic road ones.
Is there a woodland?
Oh, that's right.
They were put on both lists and had to be.
I had 47 as no. That's healthy. Is it?
I mean, it's an elm, so it's healthy for now. But we're gonna keep pruning it, and then it's gonna get Dutch elm eventually anyway.
Oh, that was the front lawn that had 3 trees.
It's happened down.
Yeah, my take on that is it was leaning back the other way anyway.
Yeah, I just don't like
Or
it.
is that the other?
I just don't like it. It's not too much. Or we cannot. They're very difficult to control.
Aren't we lucky to have them?
Yeah, these ones.
They get big if they don't get Dutch elm. But when they grow out, when they're growing under the wires or near the wires, their response to pruning is to ignore it and just sprout. And they sprout just very aggressively right back to where you're trying to prune them away from. So not my favorite.
Okay.
All of them.
So Sean, I had 32, 33, 39, 41 A and B, and 43 A and B. Key.
I have 42 and 43 to keep as well. Were those not for keeping?
I don't think 42, 41 and 43.
We had 43 A and B.
Oh, you're right.
42 is good.
Yep.
32 cube, 33 cube, 39 cubes. 41 cube, 43 cube, yeah.
So Sean, you want to make your motion?
I don't need to vote.
Or just say, our decision is.
Yeah, I guess. Who am I gonna vote with? Who's gonna second my own vote?
No, just for the minutes.
You record that list. The scenic road list as
With
record of
those
hearing.
those ones.
I see you
That's
guys.
good. Thank you. Okay.
All right, I make a motion that we close the scenic road tree hearing at
Joint public hearing.
the joint public hearing for both pre-warden, DPW, and the planning board at 9:14 on October the 7th. I have a second.
Second,
So moved and seconded. All those in favor, Brett,
Aye.
Rob,
Aye.
Steph,
Aye.
Jim,
aye.
and I, Frank Hookham, and I as well. Thank you, everybody.
And Sean's
Thank you.
agreement to close. Thank you, Matt.
You're very welcome. Thank you guys. Every time.
Thank you for your time and all the work you're gonna be doing for us.
Yeah. Hopefully within a month, but we'll see.
Really.
Yes. Maybe next month.
Take some cookies, so I don't have to take them back.
Huh?
Take some cookies, so I don't just take them back.
Thanks for the again.
Thanks.
So let me go back. Steps.
All right, so the next item on the agenda that we're going to discuss, we're going to go straight to that item that Steph brought up.
The North Sherborn Water and Sewer District update and
Letter.
request for comments.
Yep, they provided an update. It sounds like the pump testing for the water supply wells. So, let me back up a couple steps. At some point, it was recognized that in order to get water supply from Framingham and send sewer to Natick, it required an interbasin transfer to be approved because you're taking sewer out of one, or water out of one watershed and giving it to another watershed. This is true of all MWRA communities because they take water out of the Quabbin and send it over to Deer Island. So the DEP requires for an interbasin transfer, requires proof that you cannot source your water locally. And you can't develop the site and not, and thus avoiding a transfer through between watersheds. So the developer ran some pump tests, which failed pretty well, I should say. Did not provide the yield that even the minimum yield that they needed, much less the sustained yield that they were looking for. They didn't even get to the sustained yield test. They only went to the minimum pumping rate and couldn't get that out of the 4 wells that they drilled on the property. So they're concluding that it is not possible to develop the site with on-site water supplies, thus substantiating the argument for an interbasin transfer. As part of this process, they have submitted a draft environmental impact report to the state for both developments. I believe it is Coolidge Crossing and I don't remember the names. They've changed so many times. Yeah. Totally can't hear you guys on hybrid, but that's okay. It's for both developments, affordable and EA. And as they were explaining that the comment period opens up officially today and closes officially in 1 month. And they were saying that they do expect comments, Meadowbrook Commons and Coolidge Crossing. They do expect comments. You know, they have to respond to every comment, but they did say that letters of positive comment, providing positive comments from the project proponents is very helpful for them to receive. So they requested entities such as the planning board, the groundwater protection committee to submit comments on the draft EIR through the state's process. So this would involve writing a letter of support. One thing that they did of the development with the interbasin transfer. One of the things that they did say is that they really like these letters to be brief because they have to respond to every comment they receive. So if we make a lot of points in the letter, they have to respond to all of those. I've been through the EIR process before. I'm familiar with this, and I understand why they're asking for brief. So I don't know what the best course of action is for the planning board. I think technically we have next meeting. We wanted it. I have a personal motive here because the Groundwater Protection Committee has to draft our letter tomorrow. And we don't get another shot at the apple, we're going to approve it tomorrow. So having some feedback from this board on what a letter might sound like would be helpful for the Groundwater Protection Committee tomorrow. I am happy to share I went through some old letters of support for these types of projects and pulled some language. I'd be happy to share just a straw man of that, get some initial thoughts maybe, and then we can pass it around for more detailed comments. But the initial thoughts would be really helpful to me for tomorrow's Groundwater Protection Committee meeting. So I guess I know it's late and I understand if board members don't want to do this at this time, we can just punt it to a future meeting. But it'll be helpful for groundwater protection if people are willing to spend a few minutes on it.
I mean, you went to the trouble to look them up. That's really nice. I'm glad to look at it.
Any objections? We just
A hand raised here in the room. Addie May.
Yeah, I don't know if you can hear me, so,
Wait, Addie May, this,
okay.
are here. One of these two are.
I'm trying to use the owl.
I guess just since we've been working on this and since you say it needs to be brief because of the response, I mean, the environmental impact report is 1,000 pages long. So to try and think you're gonna read it and then come up with direct points, but the most important thing for our town was we've had consistent support since 2007 for this project with infrastructure. So it's been agreed by pretty much the majority of our residents at town meeting that the support for this project only worked if there was not on-site waste and there was not on-site well. And to me, that's kind of the main thing that your letter of support should re-emphasize, that environmentally and health safety, this project, yes, there's that interbasin transfer discrepancy because your water's coming from Framingham and your sewage is going to Natick. But this is what makes the project work. And this is, the state has decided that we need this project and the town has decided that they support this project the way it looks. So that's kind of, I guess, that in some ways seems to simplify your point, that it's consistent with how the town has been supportive of this project since 2017 and the environmental benefit of having the infrastructure that the town has supported and the town's been working to achieve with our with our municipal neighbors. So
And
yeah, I totally agree with that. It was sorry.
I just said that, that I just added the clarification point that wasn't even through a special town meeting. That we had that vote.
Yeah.
To have the intermunicipal agreement.
Yeah.
I think, Steph, and I can't remember if you have it, but I think what Marion had talked to me, she really wanted the planning board to emphasize the housing production needs, and that this helps us along with our housing production plan, and that this area in general that has a great need for housing.
Okay, so should I put up, I've been making some notes while we're talking, but I have a draft. Do you want me to put it up on the screen? Would that be helpful?
Yes.
It does try to get to the singular point that this project combines affordable housing and multifamily housing stock in a way that doesn't deplete our groundwater resources. So that's the main. Let me just share my screen. Just stop talking, or I can read it too. I don't know if you guys want to just read it or if you want me to read it out loud.
That's the headline.
That's the headline. So it says this proposed project would add much needed affordable housing and higher density housing. This should say multifamily. I would try to stay away from higher density in
Yeah.
to our housing stock consistent with our town's master plan and housing production plan. I just added that in because that was a good point. As we are a town almost totally dependent on wells and septic systems, groundwater quantity and quality has been a hurdle to adding more affordable housing and multifamily housing. To help move these projects forward for the past 2 years, town has been working with Framingham and Natick to provide water and sewer potential development for this neighborhood. I probably need to put general town support. Think I'll put it up here about just the town generally supports the project. So this proposed project makes great progress toward the goals of our master plan and housing production plan without depleting our town's natural groundwater resources. Specifically, it would allow for affordable housing and multifamily housing to be built with water supply and sewer disposal through adjacent towns without negatively impacting local groundwater levels or groundwater quality. This is especially important given the proximity of the nearby general chemical hazardous waste site and the closed municipal landfills. Planning board is in support of the proposed project that couples affordable housing with an interbasin transfer of water that is necessary to provide Amesbury-based utilities through our neighboring municipalities. So I can send this around. I think it addresses sort of like the singular comment that this only works if it works together, right? That we support the project with the water situation proposed. In my groundwater draft, though, I worded it a lot more strongly. I said we support the project if and only if it is coupled with water and sewer services from that are outside of town, basically. So if we want it more strong, I was trying to stay more in the lane of planning board and housing stock here. And the groundwater protection was kind of an add-on. And in the groundwater protection letter, I was trying to stay more in the lane of groundwater as a central focus. So I don't know if this works for folks. I didn't want the letters to be the same.
Maybe, I mean, we could have affordable housing, multifamily, but also another term that should be added is diversity of housing stock, since that's used in our housing production plan.
Yes, I was trying to just figure out how to work that in because diversity of housing stock. I had that phrase in my head and I couldn't get it in the sentence. Affordable housing and multifamily.
For your last
housing
sentence.
how about this? To diversify our housing stock. Does that work?
Maybe, diversify, yeah, I mean, I guess it's the same term. I mean, diversity of housing options, diversify our housing stock. The other thought, I guess what I was thinking is this proposed project would add much needed housing diversity or much needed diversity in housing options, including affordable housing and multifamily housing.
And without this, it fails. I don't know if you want to be blunt like that, but.
Okay, would add much needed diversity of housing options, including affordable housing and multifamily housing. Consistent with our town's master plan and housing production plan. Does that work? Let me take off the track changes.
We want to say anything about our goal towards reaching the SHI or not?
I took some of that out because it felt like
seems like. Yeah, I wouldn't say that.
Yeah.
I don't disagree that it's a goal, but
It shouldn't be the emphasis of this. I think what I think what Steph has here states all of those points.
Without putting a number on it.
Right.
And the only thing that, like I said, I might add is that without this agreement, it fails, and we really need this to move forward.
So maybe something like it has been widely supported by town boards and committees and also citizens through annual town meeting votes, something of that degree.
Yeah, not an annual town meeting, through a special town meeting vote.
Yeah,
Um,
did you mention the special legislation in order that the town supported to, President and one of his general counsel,
You know, let the select board do the special legislation.
right?
We can just add a general sentence like this.
I guess I wonder, it's not just the project, it kind of going back to what Jim was saying, the project with anticipated infrastructure.
Okay, so really so here we're just saying it meets our housing goals. Here we're saying we need the other cities for water and sewer. This is where we say, let's put them together and do this, right?
So we're arguing for the interbasin transfer.
Well,
Sorry.
so this is, I asked this question in the district meeting. The DEIR, which I just had up on my screen, did I? Oh, you can't even see it. The DEIR is actually an environmental impact statement for Meadowbrook Commons and Coolidge Crossing. And it also speaks to an interbasin transfer. So it's really for the development, which includes an interbasin an anticipated interbasin transfer. But to Addie Mae's point, so I asked, what is the action we are supporting here? Are we supporting the housing development? Are we supporting the interbasin transfer? Are we supporting approval of the DEIR? And they said really the first two, the housing project and the interbasin transfer. Because I think this document is being used to check multiple boxes with respect to the interbasin transfer as well. So,
Because of because of the project, the municipal intermunicipal agreement is necessary.
yes. Yes.
It would help other projects potentially along the way.
Future projects.
I just feel like I'm like saying this so many times that couples affordable housing with water, and it's fine. So I'm just gonna say town meeting votes because I think we did have annual town meeting votes around the district and special town meeting votes around the development. So I'm not going to get super specific here, but just to express that there's wide support. Anyway, I can.
Okay, if you, yes, you feel like you're repeating yourself, but I think it's okay because it just emphasizes that really that's the important thing, and
Yeah. Okay, so let me take a stab at this last sentence, not just sort of when I have some space to think, and then I can send this to Heidi to pass out for people to comment and consolidate back to Heidi.
Right, just comment back to me only
And then we can vote it next meeting.
next meeting.
Yeah, any other major points that are missing though? Just to inform my conversation tomorrow with groundwater.
Yeah, I don't think from the planning board perspective.
Okay.
I think you hit it.
All right. That's it for that item. So I'm
So
sharing.
there updates on me for the other board or committees,
And that was gonna be the major one.
right? Sure.
And,
Let's just say any other.
and sorry, my brain has been fried right now. I can't think.
Or do you have a town planner report?
We're working on the open space and recreation plan right now, the update, and that is going to be reaching a phase where we're going to be getting drafts of the report or sections of the report out to various boards for input. And that should happen in the next few months. So we'll be asking the planning board to read and weigh in on this plan that we're putting together. It also includes outreach, that the new program that they want, it used to be every 7-year renewal, and the state's now extended it to every 10-year renewal. So whatever we put together now is going to be good for 10 years, which is good because it's a lot of work, right? But outreach is really important, and we're putting together a survey that will be going out in the next couple of months. I'll put a postcard out to people. And I'm also trying to reach out to the school community. I'm setting up an appointment this Friday with the new principal at the elementary school, because that's one of the groups I feel we have not really tapped into. But just in general, we'll be doing our master plan soon, so I want to restart conversations there and see if we can get involved, because also for the TIP planning that we're doing for the downtown project, we want to have input from the schools. And so I'll have more to report after that meeting, but that's the initial inroad.
Sounds good. Any other orders of business?
Any other reports? Rob, sometimes you have heard something.
Not hearing any, I make a motion that we close our meeting for this evening.
Second.
Second.
As you know, the second. Okay, all those in favor? Rob,
Aye.
Brett,
Aye.
Steph,
Aye.
Jim,
Hi.
and Frank Hookham, and I as well.
We had someone that may.
They would get outvoted.
All right.
Great, so the next meeting is 2 weeks.
October 21st.
21st.
Wow.
Motion to adjourn at 9:33.
And
See
I see
everyone.
that
9:33 or 9:36?
Oh, 9 o'clock is fine. Thank you.
All right, everybody,
21st is
have a
listed on
wonderful
my
evening.
calendar.
Thank you. That was, I think.